others?
It's been so full circle. It's been such a gift and privilege now to be on that side of things, and is so purposeful and impactful to know that helping others feel less alone and giving people community and a safe space and place of belonging, especially when you don't feel like that, is so powerful. And to look back at where I was to where I am now and what I get to do now, I think just even proves more of a point of there is reason to stay. And being able to prove and show that to other people that there is reason to stick around, because there is another side, even when it doesn't feel like there is.
It's amazing watching your flourishing. You just got married. You just went on your honeymoon. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm so happy for you and all of these incredible changes. So thank you so much for sharing your story. I know it's making a difference in the lives of so many as we speak. And I want to kind of segue over to Dr. Sung. You know, some common warning signs that we should look out for with our loved ones.
Right. I think that I can only try to comment on and say more about this beautiful story that we have. I think that so many of the themes that we heard from this, so warning signs of suicide, sometimes we'll talk about people feeling unbearably alone, lonely, that they're completely unlovable, worthless, like their life has become a burden to other people. They feel hopeless, humiliated, or trapped. And so when the suicidal mind is in that state, people might start to do things or talk in ways that you can notice. And so sometimes that's changes in mood, someone's mood goes down. Sometimes that's changes in hygiene, someone stops taking care of themselves, or then maybe they become more withdrawn. And so what I try to say about warning signs is that those are our invitations to move in, connect, and start having a caring conversation with someone.
And you were saying there's so many effective treatments. Kind of paint that picture for the help that's available.
Definitely. And the story that we hear today is so beautiful insofar as effective treatment is often a combination of medications and psychotherapy. And one of the important points that I'll bring up is that sometimes we'll talk about a difference between managing suicide risk, which is being able to get through a crisis, and then treatment of suicide risk, which is learning about your thoughts. Sometimes I'll use the term domesticating your own suicidal thoughts. And so medication can be helpful in stabilizing the psychiatric condition so that then you can participate in therapy. And then over time, you want to learn how to think about your own suicidal thoughts, reflect on them, and ultimately try to build a life worth living. And so I'm so happy to hear this story to illustrate that so beautifully.
Yeah, I feel very moved and very privileged to get to talk to you both about this very important topic. So thanks for being brave and chatting with us, and yeah, just really appreciate your time. And you know what, to people at home, if you are feeling this way, you're not alone. And if you know someone who's struggling or in crisis, you can text the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline at 988, and that number is available 24/7. You can also text HOME or HOLA to 741-741 to reach a live volunteer crisis counselor 24/7. Thanks again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
We'll be right back.
No-rung guy. He said he started at a caboose, and now he's the chairman of the Union Pacific. But he's a great guy. But he said, "Sir, don't lose."
Kent police say the man was hit in this parking lot near the Easy Smoke shop. I'm going to step out of the way so you can see where this happened. Investigators say that the man was trying to stop the suspect from leaving without paying for merchandise, and that's when he was hit. A worker we talked to at the Easy Smoke shop says the parking lot outside was the scene of a dramatic assault on September 16th. Police say it was just before 8 when a man from Kent was accused of trying to take items out of the store without paying. The employee we spoke with said security video showed the suspect without a mask, taking what looked like a lower value or small items without paying. Police say the clerk ran out after him and confronted him. The man's accused of refusing to return the merchandise. After a brief altercation in the parking lot, police say the driver intentionally struck the clerk. He was taken to Harborview for treatment for critical head injuries and later died. His coworkers said though he wasn't on shift with him at the time, it was a very sad situation and he is still shaken up by it. The owner of this nearby deli says theft is an all too common occurrence for businesses here.
Every day has $50, $40 taken.
He says sometimes the same suspects return again and again.
Every day there is here taken room food.
In a neighborhood where kids can be seen at play, neighbors say it's fortunate nobody else was hurt. Police say that the suspect is 28 years old and is from the Kent area. He was arrested in the East Hill neighborhood in Kent. Charges are expected in the coming days. Reporting from Kent, Jennifer Dowling, Fox 13 News.
Bryan, we'll start you off with an easy one. What do you enjoy most about this team?
I mean, I think it's just the bond between the guys. It's such a good group. I think it means a lot when you enjoy coming to the field every day and you're excited about coming to the field every day. It's the guys in the clubhouse, it's the coaches, it's the trainers, it's everybody. So I think just top to bottom, it's such a good group of guys, and we have so much fun just hanging out together.
Yeah, and the season is a grind in general, but when you come to the ballpark, and how different is it this year maybe than the last couple of years? Because you've always enjoyed it, I assume, here, but how is this year different from maybe the last couple of years you've been here?
Yeah, I think you get settled in a little bit in your first couple of years. You're trying to figure out, how to be a big leaguer, what your role looks like on the team, and how you get the most out of yourself, how you get the most out of your teammates. So the first couple of years you're just trying to learn as much as you can, and then as you keep going, get a little older, how you can kind of take those lessons and apply it and make yourself better, make the team better. But stepping in and finding roles that maybe are needed within the team, whether it's taking younger guys under your wing, or whether it's a leadership role or whatever it may be. So it's just kind of learning as you go and just always trying to get better.
There's always a focus on what's next and what's in the future, but have you allowed yourself a chance to reflect on some of the cool parts of this season, including having a chance to call your parents and letting them know that you were an All-Star for the first time? What was that like?
Yeah, I mean, I'll do a lot more reflecting probably after the season. You try to stay in the moment as best you can when you're in it, but it's definitely been a lot of cool moments this year. Being named an All-Star and being able to share it with my family was definitely one of the cooler ones. But hopefully get a lot more memories to build throughout this year, and then we'll look back and have a really, really cool year to look back on. So
we've all experienced what it's like when this place is packed, when all the energy is in this stadium and it's a big moment in a game, but not many of us have an opportunity to experience that as a player. What is it like as a pitcher with the ball in your hand in those moments?
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, I think we played so well at home for a reason. It's we have so much fun playing here. Obviously, the crowd and the fans and the energy of the ballpark, like you feel that every time that you go out and play. So we try to feed into it as much as we can and kind of let it carry through. And then as you get into those tight games and towards the end of them, like it definitely helps a lot. Other teams feel it, we feel it. So it's definitely a privilege and a huge advantage to have a fan base like we do.
Have you pictured what it would be like to get the ball in a World Series game? Not even just a World Series game, but one here in Seattle in front of this crowd.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine. Obviously, I wasn't able to. I wasn't here for playoffs in 22, and we watched all the games on TV. Me and teammates and stuff in the minor leagues, and watched how fun it was. And the watch parties, and then like the one game that we were able to get here, it was unbelievable. So I think I'm sure the fans in the city are starving for another big postseason run, and hopefully we're able to deliver something like that. But it would be an unbelievable experience to be able to play in a game like that.
If I had gone back 6 years and told you when you're a freshman at Cal Poly, and 8+ ERA then, or going through Tommy John surgery after that, and some of the struggles that you've had, that you're going to be here in this situation as a big leaguer in the starting rotation for the Mariners, what would you have told me?
I'd say you're absolutely crazy, probably. Yeah, that was a rough stretch of baseball for me for a couple of years there, and obviously looking back on it, it was kind of a blessing in disguise to go through all that stuff and to struggle and to learn how to fail, and but all of it now has kind of probably helped me and propelled me to where I'm at now. So yeah, it's definitely crazy to look back on, even just a couple of years ago, and how fast everything's turned around. And but always still trying to find ways to get better.
And that being said, what advice would you give to maybe the struggling freshman who's getting into college, who still has dreams of being a big league ball player?
Probably to go out and do something else other than baseball. You're so young, and you really struggle for the first time. It's tough. Your identity is just so attached to baseball and success and failure, and not really ever experiencing that up until that point was pretty tough. But yeah, I think it's just important to remember that there's so many other things that are important in life other than baseball, and then as you can kind of detach from it, then it'll help you that much more when you get back into the sport.
Finally, do you believe in witchcraft?
I don't know.
The effect that it's had on this team at certain points of the season?
I didn't know anything about it. My girlfriend had to tell me about what was going on and the Etsy thing. But I mean, hey, whatever works, I'll take whatever we got. If it's working, don't fix it.
Bryan, thanks so much,
Yeah,
and best of luck the rest of the year.
Yeah, thank you guys.
And a good morning from Glendale, Arizona, where, Super Bowls aside at least, the Seahawks have a pretty good track record. The Hawks are 10-1-1 against the Cardinals here at State Farm Stadium dating back to 2013. They'll also be going for their 8th consecutive win against the Cardinals later tonight. And despite Seattle's 31-point win over New Orleans on Sunday, there are key areas where Coach Mike Macdonald would like to see some significant improvement. That includes a run game that's currently 4th worst in the league in yards per carry, despite having the 5th most attempts. And even with Zach Charbonnet's status uncertain, Macdonald knows they can be much better on the ground.
And we got to run the ball more effectively so we can keep that trend going, so teams don't just sit back and make us pass. At the end of the day, we're calling the plays are fine. We got to execute better. Got to block it better. Got to run it better. unfortunately, it's just really that simple for you. It's not really a huge story behind it. We just got to play better.
The defense, meanwhile, has allowed the second fewest points per game this season, holding their first three opponents to 17 points or less to start a season for just the 5th time in franchise history. That'll be put to the test against the first real dual-threat quarterback they've faced all season in Kyler Murray.
I think with a guy like him, you have to be really aware of, how we're rushing as one. I think this is one of those games where that statement and phrase comes together more than ever. Rushing as one. We talk about it all the time, whether we're rushing with 4 people or 5 people, of just like not opening up lanes and pockets for a guy like Murray to run. He's super fast. You see him outrunning DBs on the sideline and stuff like that. So for us, it's really important to just collapse the pocket and just put the pocket on top of him.
Finally, it might just be McDonald's second season with Seattle, but the team's already handled all kinds of challenging situations like this short week. They beat Chicago on the road on Thursday Night Football on a very short week in December last year. They've also won 7 consecutive road games and are an incredible 8-1 on the road under McDonald. Our pregame coverage starts at 4 o'clock today with a pregame show leading you up to kickoff here on Fox 13. And then be sure to tune in after the game for Fox 13 Game Day with reaction from head coach Mike McDonald and the players here on Fox 13. Coverage all night long as well. From Glendale, Arizona, Aaron Levine, Fox 13 Sports.
Carfentanil is fentanyl on steroids.
This graphic demonstrates just how lethal a dose of carfentanil can be. 2 milligrams of fentanyl, seen on the tip of the pencil on the left, can kill you, while just 0.02 milligrams of carfentanil, shown on the right, can be fatal.
Carfentanil is not designed for human consumption. Carfentanil is made to tranquilize elephants in a veterinary setting. So it's an elephant tranquilizer.
Last week, the DEA, ATF, Federal Way Police, and Centralia Police seized 50,208 pills from a suspect at a gas station in Centralia.
This could have been a tragic event had this load had come through to the Seattle Tacoma area.
Yeah. So how do addicts know the difference?
See, these pills looked exactly the same as the blue M30s that you typically see with fentanyl. In fact, when we seized them, we thought it was fentanyl. We only found out it was carfentanil when we sent it to the lab, because even trained DEA agents couldn't tell the difference.
In recent years, carfentanil has been found mixed in with other drugs to make them more powerful. The King County Medical Examiner's Office reports 6 carfentanil-related overdoses in 2024 and 4 so far in 2025. That number could have quickly skyrocketed if these pills had hit the streets.
And would Narcan even work on this?
Narcan would work on this opiate, but it's so potent, so powerful, so deadly that it might take more than one dose, might take multiple doses, might take more doses than someone would have.
He says this shipment was trafficked here from Mexico by the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, or CJNG, designated by President Trump as a foreign terrorist organization. Agents say El Mencho is the wanted leader.
The CJNG is a ruthless cartel. Their only purpose in life is to make money profiting from the misery of our communities. So we are cracking down on CJNG this week.
Normally, you keep these operations under wraps until they're over. Why be so public about it now?
Because it's a huge public safety threat. It's a huge public health crisis. And DEA is doing all we can in every sphere, with both enforcement and outreach and media. Everything we can do, we're trying to use every tool at our disposal to combat CJNG.
The driver accused of trafficking the pills, Nathaniel Washington, was arrested and is facing federal charges. But he may not be the only one bringing this deadly drug here.
What is the possibility that other carfentanil has made its way to Western Washington?
It's certainly possible. We didn't even know this was carfentanil when we seized it. So chances are strong that there's more carfentanil like this out in the world, which just reinforces the message that you should not take any pill that's not prescribed for you by a doctor.
While investigators say this property has been an issue for the community for years, the people who live inside tell me that's not how they want to be perceived by their neighbors.
Last week, officers were at the address for an unrelated issue, and while they were there, they saw an illegal marijuana grow on the property.
Commander Dave Clary of the Centralia Police Department tells me during the warrant search, investigators found 10 potted weed plants, 15 drying plants hanging, 3 pounds of processed weed, equipment for growing, packaging, and scales, as well as smaller amounts of meth and fentanyl for personal use.
That address has generated many complaints, though, due to the behavior of either people who are living there or people who are coming to visit them.
Known as the Circus House, police say they have responded to multiple calls for overdoses, fights, thefts, and warrant arrests. However, people who live in the home tell me they're not trying to be a nuisance.
It's a little unfair. You know, I think that it's just, that story's so one-sided. It's just made me cry almost just to read it. Just made it look pretty bad.
Tori Campbell says she lives inside the home and provides care to some of the other tenants. She tells me the owner of the house rents to people who might be homeless otherwise. Campbell says she was aware of what she says is a legal amount of weed on the property, but she says she and her roommates are not who police are making them out to be.
I apologize for any unsavory things that are happening around here. We're trying really, really hard to get this cleared up and get these people to move on and get this to be a normal house and not, you know, take away Circus House from it. We don't want that anymore. We're sorry about yesterday, you know, that you had to see police presence here for that long and what was going on.
We've been waiting for these DNA results since late last week. Now we're learning that prosecutors are actually closing the case against Travis Decker. They're even going as far as canceling his arrest warrant. This is all according to court filings after the U.S. Marshals confirmed to them that Decker is dead. Remains were found last week just 3/4 of a mile from the Rock Island campground where investigators say Travis Decker killed his 3 young daughters, Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia, ending a months-long manhunt that pulled in Chelan County deputies, the FBI, and the U.S. Marshals. Visitors in Leavenworth are pushing through smoky skies, now with word that Decker has been found dead.
First to the law enforcement, great appreciation for their persistence in finding him.
That's great. At least they found him. It was too much. They had to find him somehow.
But even with the case ending, the impact this has had on the community is heavy.
It's shocking that something like that can happen, that a father can take the lives of his children, senseless. It's awful.
Others, like Marty Satina, say they'll never forget the timing of the tragedy.
So I was over this area in the early summer, and it was the weekend that he killed his children. And so I'm back here, and now they've confirmed that he died.
That's
that's a long time.
It's just too heartbreaking.
Despite these court filings, the Chelan County Coroner's Office is still waiting for DNA results back from the Washington State Crime Lab to identify the remains as positively belonging to Travis Decker. However, they do say that no matter how long, we may never know the true cause and manner of death. In Leavenworth, Alejandra Guzman, back to you.
Thank you for all joining me here today.
My name is Katie Wilson, and I'm running for Seattle mayor. In these times, we all have a duty to stand up for our democracy and to uphold the principles on which it is built. I'm standing here today calling on the Sinclair Broadcast Group to reject authoritarianism, to reject government censorship, and to stand up for free speech by reinstating Jimmy Kimmel's show on KOMO TV. The First Amendment protects private speech from government censorship. It is of the utmost importance that we do not let our media, our forums for news and commentary and debate that are so essential to the functioning of our democracy, be subject to control and pressure from the federal government. That means we cannot let the FCC, a government agency, coerce television networks based on their programming or the comments of their employees. There are many complicated legal and ethical issues around speech, but this is simple stuff. And all of us have a duty to stand up against such coercion. All of us have a role to play in resisting the creeping authoritarianism of our federal government. I've been thinking about my role as a candidate for office in a high-profile local race. What can I do? And to be transparent, I had a short interview here at KOMO on Monday, and it did not sit right for me. It did not sit right with me, and that is what got me thinking about what my role should be in this moment. So I'll tell you what I am going to do. On Wednesday, October 8th, KOMO is scheduled to air a debate between me and the incumbent, Mayor Bruce Harrell. I cannot, in good conscience, participate in an event that will drive viewers and dollars to a broadcasting corporation that colludes and capitulates, that collapses like a house of cards under pressure from the Trump administration. So I am calling on Sinclair Broadcast Group to reinstate Jimmy Kimmel's show. It is an easy thing to do. And if this does not happen, I cannot participate in a debate that will be aired on KOMO TV. And I want to emphasize that this is a difficult decision because it's not just their debate. There are other people, other organizations that are involved in organizing it, and I want to participate in that debate. And so I hope that Sinclair makes the right decision. And I hope that regardless, we can move forward with that debate, even if KOMO is not able to participate. And I will also just say to the public that there are over 20 debates this fall, so you will have plenty of chances to hear from me and from my opponent. I also pledge not to spend campaign advertising dollars on any Sinclair-owned outlet. And I call on Bruce Harrell and his PAC to do the same. We should all be able to agree that Seattle will stand up for our basic civil liberties and not simply fold under threats from Donald Trump. I also want to emphasize that I appreciate all of the hardworking people at KOMO TV, the journalists, the news anchors, and all of the employees, and I know that they did not make this decision. This is about their corporate owner, Sinclair Broadcast Group. The events of the past few weeks hold many lessons for us. One of those lessons is about the danger of corporate consolidation of our media landscape, and also the crisis that the journalism industry is facing in our times. The fact is, there is not a sustainable funding model for high-quality local journalism and news coverage in our country today. We see social media companies gobbling up advertising revenue that once flowed to newspapers. We see hedge funds buying up local newsrooms, stripping them for parts, and laying off reporters. Even here in Seattle, we used to have 2 daily newspapers and 2 alternative weeklies, and now we have only 1 of each. Our local media landscape here in Seattle and in Washington State just suffered another blow last week. Cascade Public Media announced that it is eliminating its written journalism and cutting more than 15 jobs. As someone who was once a regular columnist for Cascade back when it was called Crosscut, this loss feels personal to me. Losses like this, repeated year after year in communities across the country, are devastating for our democracy. The hollowing out of local news contributes to political polarization and enables corruption. How can we hold governments, corporations, and other powerful actors accountable without skilled journalists doing the painstaking work of digging into what is really going on behind the facade? How can voters make informed decisions in local elections? This is a big problem, a national problem, But right here in Seattle, we can help to forge a solution. Part of the answer is public funding. Until the middle of the last century, U.S. newspapers were heavily supported by postal subsidies. Many countries around the world, from Norway to Germany to Japan, publicly fund news media at substantial levels. Today, the U.S. is an outlier. As mayor, I will propose strengthening local journalism through a program modeled on Seattle's pioneering democracy voucher program. Imagine if each individual resident could allocate some amount, such as $150 annually, to the local news outlets of their choice. In this way, public funds can help to sustain and grow our local news ecosystem without giving politicians the power to influence news coverage. Local journalism clarifies how power is wielded, how our institutions are succeeding or failing to serve us. It enables public debate and ties communities together. It promotes civic vitality and undergirds our ability to self-govern. In these dark times, the problems can feel overwhelming, but we all also have the power to be part of the solutions. That can mean standing up and speaking out against federal overreach and censorship, as protesters have done right here in this spot several times in the past couple weeks. That can mean supporting independent local news outlets with your own dollars. And that can mean paying attention, getting informed, and participating in our local democracy. I am proud to be in a position today to play a small role in resisting the creep of authoritarianism in our country. And I hope that Sinclair Broadcast Group will decide to stand up and do their part too. Thank you.
I'm Hannah Kim at the Fox Local Live Desk. At 4 o'clock today, we're going to get a press conference on the latest on Travis Decker, that case. But we wanted to, give you an update on what we know so far on this situation. You may recall, of course, we've been covering this story for nearly 4 months. So here's how we got here. I want to give you a timeline and catch you up on this case before this live press conference at 4 o'clock, where we expect to hear more DNA evidence, also the autopsy report. So far is that the search was very, very intense. Here's some video of the terrain and, some pictures released of the search and that area. But as you may recall, sadly, Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia disappeared after a planned visit with their father on May 30th. Authorities were called in after Decker failed to return the girls for a planned event the following day. Now, on June 2nd, investigators found Decker's pickup truck abandoned with bloody handprints near the Rock Island campground, which is in Leavenworth, and the girls' bodies were discovered nearby. 2 days later, a tip came in of a possible sighting of Travis Decker in Idaho, escalating, an already intense search for the fugitive dad. But that tip went nowhere. Then on June 5th, authorities announced a full closure of the encampments and areas surrounding Icicle Creek in Leavenworth. And then meanwhile, on June 20th, as all that stuff was going on, we had this profound and very sad memorial that was held for the girls in the Wenatchee area. And it was the first time we heard from Whitney Decker after the news came of her daughter's murders. And it was the first time we heard from her in that public memorial. It was very profound and heart-wrenching at the same time. But we also spoke with Whitney Decker. Fox 13 did actually on the day they were reported missing. They spoke, Whitney Decker spoke with Fox 13's David Rose on that day as she was pleading for the return of her daughter. So it has been quite the last 4 months for Whitney Decker in this tragic case. So after that memorial, we know the next big thing that happened was on July 5th. The search for Decker moved into Idaho's Sawtooth National Forest after another tip came in saying they had spotted someone that looked like Decker, but that would be debunked after the man himself, mistaken for Decker, came forward to say it wasn't him. Fast forward to August 5th, another tip, this time near the Pacific Crest Trail in Snoqualmie. Nothing was ever found there. On August 23rd, crews returned to the area where the girls were found dead, the Rock Island campground, shutting down that area as the FBI actually brought in more skilled and trained personnel to do a grid search in that region, spanning about a quarter mile from the campsite. August 28th now, investigators revealed bones were found near that site. They tested for it, and then it only came back positive for an animal. So at this point, there's a lot of people in the community who felt very dejected. They didn't know where this search was going, if we were ever going to get news of where Travis Decker was. But then finally, on September 18th, Sheriff Morrison of Chelan County announced that they discovered scattered remains likely belonging to Decker about less than a mile away from the original June crime scene. That's what's really shocking about this, because it sounds so close, but because it was in such a steep terrain and uninhabitable area, crews were not able to get there until that point to search that area. And then finally, they did find scattered remains. And that brings us to today, where we are expecting, again, another confirmation. We'd first reported the confirmation yesterday saying that the U.S. Marshals said that those remains did, in fact, belong to Travis Decker. So there's no question that Travis Decker is dead. But what we're hearing today, what we're hoping to hear, is maybe a better timeline of when Decker may have died in those nearly 4 months. Was it early on, right after the murders, or was it later? And the circumstances behind his death. How did he die? So those are the main questions that still remain that hopefully we'll get more word from at 4 p.m. And during these press conferences, it's usually, Sheriff Morrison and the U.S. Marshals together doing these joint press conferences, and they give out quite a bit of information. They allow reporters to ask a lot of questions, so hopefully we'll get more details. We have reporter Alejandra Guzman, who's actually in Leavenworth right now, waiting for that live press conference that is scheduled at 4 o'clock. But she has been following this story all week, really. And yesterday, she was out there and, filed another story on what we knew about this case. So I want to play her story from yesterday. Take a listen.
We've been waiting for the
We've been waiting for these DNA results since late last week. Now we're learning that prosecutors are actually closing the case against Travis Decker. They're even going as far as canceling his arrest warrant. This is all according to court filings after the U.S. Marshals confirmed to them that Decker is dead.
Remains were found last week just 3/4 of a mile from the Rock Island campground where investigators say Travis Decker killed his 3 young daughters, Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia, ending a months-long manhunt that pulled in Chelan County deputies, the FBI, and the U.S. Marshals. Visitors in Leavenworth are pushing through smoky skies, now with word that Decker has been found dead.
First to the law enforcement, great appreciation for their persistence in finding him.
That's great. At least they found him. It was too much. They had to find him somehow.
But even with the case ending, the impact this has had on the community is heavy.
It's shocking that something like that can happen, that a father can take the lives of his children, senseless. It's awful.
Others, like Marty Satina, say they'll never forget the timing of the tragedy.
So I was over this area in the early summer, and it was the weekend that he killed his children. And so I'm back here, and now they've confirmed that he died. That's a long time.
It's just too heartbreaking.
Despite these court filings, the Chelan County Coroner's Office is still waiting for DNA results back from the Washington State Crime Lab to identify the remains as positively belonging to Travis Decker. However, they do say that no matter how long, we may never know the true cause and manner of death. In Leavenworth, Alejandra Guzman, back to you.
So that was Alejandra Guzman there reporting for us yesterday on the latest on Travis Decker. She is again in Leavenworth. She's going to bring us that press conference live at 4 o'clock. But you just heard her say that, officials were waiting for DNA results from the Washington Crime Lab, to come out and have this press conference. But what we can tell you is if you're confused because you're saying, well, we already got information on that. Well, that's because we were able to get a hold of court documents where the U.S. Marshals definitively said that those remains tested positive for Travis Decker, and that's why we were able to confirm that information for you yesterday. But really, it's not until today where they wanted to publicly talk about it. So we're going to expect more information on that. So at 4 o'clock, we'll be back here to bring you that press conference. All right, switching gears now to an exciting story, of course, that is the game tonight between the Seahawks and the Cardinals in Arizona. We have Sports Director Aaron Levine there, brought us coverage yesterday, and also will be bringing us coverage. And if you look right here, we were going to show you Coach Mike McDonald, who spoke before the team left for Arizona. So take a listen to what he had to say at the podium.
Good to see you. Really good preparation the last 3 days. The guys have done a great job trying to get their bodies and minds ready for the game. It's a quick turnaround, obviously, but excited to go hop on the plane here and go play our game tomorrow. But I guess injuries, just so we can preemptive strike this. Josh Jones is he'll be out with an ankle. Nick is doubtful. Zach Charbonnet, Boyer, and Bradford are all questionable for the game. All right, who's up?
Brian?
2 quick ones. Does that mean Devin Witherspoon is not on the report and expected to play?
That's right. Yeah, if I didn't mention them, they should be good to go.
Okay. And then I was just curious, how do you guys make use of the time tomorrow with a later game in the day?
Well, we have a small meeting window that we'll go with in the morning, let the guys sleep in a little bit, and then we go play. So a little bit of our Saturday. It's like today and tomorrow are a combo of a Friday, Saturday for us. So it's a little bit of our Saturday night with the, knowing that you play a game, keeping that in mind as well.
Masvidal?